Darrion Caldwell stopping by. How are you, sir?
What's up, Ariel? How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on. Congratulations on the performance. I know you were very confident going into that fight, but be honest now. Did you think you'd finish him that quickly and that way via guillotine? I mean, that was a one-sided dominant performance. Were you expecting that?
Actually, nah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought he'd be a little bit more of a challenge, but you can't ever really gauge when you just watch someone's film. It's hard to gauge once you get your hands on them or once you're out there, you start flowing. You just something just it's a little different from that and watching a guy fight. So
So are you
I
almost
wasn't expecting
disappointed?
it.
Are you almost disappointed that he wasn't as great of a challenge as you expected?
Absolutely. You know, uh, especially after that first fight. When I won the belt. I went from a five round dog fight, with Dantes to, pretty much just dismantling this guy. Uh, but that goes to show styles make matchups.
Hmm.
Uh, you know that kid still got a lot of juice in his tank. So uh, big ups to him for coming out there and trying to fight. But it's just these 35 pounders aren't big enough. It's just not ready.
Is this also maybe a product of you just getting more comfortable as champion in Bellator, and now we're really starting to see how good you can be? Does that come into play at all?
You know, Definitely that K savviness. Being in there. You know, Multiple times a year. Having just done fought 5 months ago. Now I'm back out there, so it just felt at home. Being in that cage.
As you mentioned, you are a big bantamweight. How much weight do you have to cut typically? Like, how bad are those cuts?
Honestly, the cuts aren't bad.
Okay.
But I do cut a lot. You know, I mean, in college I wrestled at 149. So um, obviously when you're wrestling and cutting weight for a fight, they're completely different. Where you're only getting an hour to replenish and rehydrate, before you got to wrestle. That 24 hours, is just a lot more things you can do with that 23 hours. But yeah, obviously I'm a big 35. I can get anywhere up to 175, 180. Uh, but the goal is to try to stick around as close to the 60s as possible. So the cut isn't as bad. You don't have to go through a weight cut before a weight cut. Where you're trying to get yourself down from 175 to fight can't weight, which is about 55, 60. And then having to get down that last week before the cut. So it just makes everything easier the lower you are, but it's doable. That 24 hours gives it time. But I'd like to go, eventually go test myself. Obviously at 45. Once we finish, with the rest of these guys. But you know, if whatever's clever, man, I'm ready to scrap. I don't got no marks and no bruises. It was a pretty easy fight. So I'm ready to get back after it whenever.
So let me ask you about that because during the post fight interview, it was very interesting to watch because in the middle you're talking about what's next. Chael's asking you what's next, and then all of a sudden you're flipping the bird, and it seems like you're talking to Patricio Pitbull. What was going on there? What was he saying to you that led you to react that way?
Yeah, man, he was just mad. Obviously that his fighter just got dogged out. You know, and then obviously there's been some talking over, back and forth from here, his camp and mine. So, I mean, it just seemed like for him to, even say anything from while I'm interviewing was disrespectful. If you want problems, let's negotiate that. Let's get our management and Bellator involved and let's make it happen. I'm all for fighting this guy. Obviously I'm a huge 35er. I fought 5 times at 45. I wrestled at 149 in college. So going up to 45 for me wouldn't be a big deal to go ahead and take this guy out.
Is that what you want next?
If negotiations, gets you know taken care of, then why not? I'm all for that fight.
Are you interested in staying at 135, or do you feel like there are greater challenges for you at 145, 155?
Well, I just want to fight everybody. You know, I don't want to
Okay.
keep fighting the same guys at all. So,
Yeah.
you know, but to be honest, that whole Patricky people, there's nothing really on my side against the Patricio brothers or whatever the Pitbull brothers, whatever they call themselves. I just want the belt at 145. So if he ain't got the belt at 145, he can keep it pushing. Like, you know, it's no fight for me. Like, I just like it's really like he's standing in the way of me and my goals. And my goal is to be a two division champ. You know, so let's make it happen, bro. I'm down for that. Like, you know, again, I already said I'm down for it. You know, it's nothing really against him personally, but he's in the way of my goals. So if he's still there when it's time, let's make it happen. I'm not gonna go out my way to fight him when that's not really the goal. Is to fight a Patricio. Like, you feel me? I can care less about him. Like, you know, he's just in my way.
And by the way, Darren, if you don't mind, could you just sit back a little bit because you went forward and now we only see your mouth. There we go. That's perfect. So you don't. So you're saying you don't want to fight because wouldn't fighting him be for the belt?
Absolutely. Well, it just depends. Like, you know, if let's say I, I thought he had a fight. Apparently, he doesn't have a fight lined up.
Oh,
Last I thought, you know, I don't know. I thought he had a fight against the guy who had him against the ropes, and he wound up, you know, sleeping him or whatever. You know, whatever. I forgot that guy's name. You know, maybe White or something like that, right? But I thought he
oh,
had. I don't know. I thought he had a fight lined up. So if he don't got a fight lined up, let's make it happen.
all right. Champion versus
Like,
champ.
what I'm saying is, like, you know, if he not the champ when it comes time to, if he loses, like somebody, like, I don't care to fight him. Like, he's not in the way at that time. Like, but he's in the way right now. So that's who I see at standing in front of me with that 45-pound belt. You know, and I need that.
I see him tweeting about you. Do you see
Uh,
him tweeting about you?
yeah, man. I just feel like I
He's
can make myself clear. You know, saying what I gotta say.
sure,
If you
sure.
want problems, we can make it happen. Like, let's like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know,
He
it's just
said
another body to the closet.
he said it's funny how these guys talk shit and once there's a real possibility to fight me, they become cowards in front of the cameras and try to make people believe I'm after them. Caldwell, Chandler, the list goes on.
Look, man, we in the fight game, man. I don't. If his words got to be said for shit to happen, then so be it. But look, I'm ready to fight whoever. You know, if it's the right thing for me and my camp. Like, if it's not the right thing, then, you know, I'll stay at 35 and continue to beat these guys up. But again, I'd rather fight as many people as possible rather than go back and beat Baby Joe up for a third time. But
Sure. Baby Joe Temanglo, who also fought on Friday and was victorious. Let me ask you, there was a fighter on Saturday in the UFC named John Dodson, who's a contender at 135, who fought the last fight on his current UFC deal. I know you were busy this weekend, but I do understand there's some interest there. Is that a fight that you would love to have? Would you like to see Bellator sign John Dodson so you can fight him?
I think that'll be an awesome fight, honestly. Obviously, I watched John Dodson growing up, you know, and coming up in the sport, you know. So for him to be a southpaw, as athletic as he is, as fast as he is, you know, I've kind of, you know, obviously tried to learn his game early on, you know. So a fight against John Dodson, that'd be cool with me. Bellator, bring him in, let's make it happen. You know, I'm down to beat all these guys, you know, and if he's on the list, bring him over, let's make it happen.
Have
He
they?
should get an
Yeah,
immediate shot, if anything. You know,
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Have they said anything to you about Michael McDonald? I know he broke his hand, but is that someone that they're targeting if he can get back in relative short order? Have they said anything about him?
Michael McDonald, after his last performance, I don't think he really proved himself that he can beat these top guys in Bellator. He's gonna have to fight a Joe Warren. Like, let I don't think he could beat Joe. You know, I don't think, and that's my opinion. You know, and I don't think, obviously, I don't think he could beat a Higo. You know, that's just my opinion. But you know, uh, he's gonna. If they want to give him the fight, let's make it happen. Like,
Okay.
I'm down to fight whoever. You know, I'm just
But you weren't
honestly,
all that impressed with his debut in December.
not so much. You know,
Okay.
I just feel like you got to do it.
Fair enough. Um, When do you want to return? How soon?
As soon as possible, this summer, June, July, August, anywhere after that, that's pushing it. I want to be active.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's amazing to watch your evolution, your maturation. You have Dominic Cruz in your corner. They're really getting behind you over there at Alliance, and it seems like Bellator is really getting behind you. Are you feeling the love?
Yeah, I'm feeling the love, man. You know, the hard work is paying off.
Yeah, it's amazing. By the way,
I'm grateful for the opportunity.
what's going on with that? The one thing that always comes up when people talk about you is the backflip and the camera woman and all that. What's going on with that?
Yeah, that's something I'm letting my management work with and deal with. We're just gonna take that day by day.
Okay. Is she suing you?
Uh, yeah, she wants to sue me.
Okay.
For you know not doing her job correctly, I guess. But you know,
All right. For not doing her
it
job
is.
correctly.
I don't. I mean, I don't think you should ever be in the vicinity of the fighter when there's so much emotion around. Like,
Right.
most camera ladies, they give a little bit more space. I don't know why she felt the need to come under me while I was, getting on the cage, with my back facing her. But that's for, you know, that's for another story.
Okay.
It
Are
is
you
what it is.
you hoping to put that behind you soon?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Um,
Uh,
what's that?
Yeah, let's put that behind us, and move forward.
It would be nice if Bellator put you on one of those big tentpole shows, right? They really give you the rub, like one of those big ones on the Saturday that they do with the big dogs. Is that what you'd like?
I think I'm due for that. I
Yeah.
think, with a title defense, people want to see me fight. They, and fans want to come out and enjoy it, themselves. So um, let's get out of Oklahoma, man.
What are you saying about the good people of Thackerville, Oklahoma? You're not a big fan of them?
Hey, I love my Thackerville, Oklahoma fans. You know that. Like, they've been holding me down. What, 5 fights in a row? They held me down. So
Damn. 5 fights there? I didn't
yeah,
realize it was
five
that
fights.
many.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
them back-to-back Baby Joe fights.
Damn.
It's all good though. I love Oklahoma. But I definitely want to start venturing out and into the other states in the MMA world, other
Yeah,
countries.
I'm looking at your list of names here where you fought. Mulvane, Kansas, Temecula, Hidalgo, Thackerville, Mulvane again, Thackerville, Thackerville. You're due for like an LA, a Chicago, a New York. You're due for one of the big markets, I think. I think you've earned that.
And that's what's up. Yeah, me too, man. It's gonna happen.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win, Darrion. It's another impressive one. I would argue maybe your most impressive considering who the opponent was. And the idea of you going up to 145 is super interesting as well. So good luck with everything from here on out. And again, congrats on the win. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Ariel. Appreciate you for having me on, man.
As always, for sure. There he is, the reigning, defending Bellator bantamweight champion. His name is Darrion Caldwell. He's one of the very best at 135 pounds, just 30 years young.